of its statutory power to scrutinise trade deals once they're concluded and report to Parliament on them. Well, the Agriculture Bill was back in the House of Commons this week, and the Conservative MP and chair of the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs Committee, Neil Parish, who had voted against the government on this whole issue in the past, told us ministers had done enough to change his mind.
We are now in a much stronger position we were before because we have a panel that exercises and gives advice before the deal is done to the Department of Trade. They will have to justify in presenting a trade deal that hasn't met those requirements. I believe we got a very good deal, and I think this is the way forward.
Some call it a SOP.
Certainly not a SOP. I've been fighting very hard for this, and I am delighted that we've got this far. We will, amend the trade bill as it comes through, and I think we have a situation where we are in a much stronger position as far as farming, animal welfare and the environment, and I look forward to scrutinising these future trade deals very strongly.
The Conservative MP Neil Parish. Well, Vicky Hurd from the campaign group Sustain was less convinced.
As it stands, it's not a great step forward. We think these changes don't provide any means of changing the deals before they're signed, having an input into the trade policy, and they don't, most importantly, set those standards on a legal footing. So they're red lines for our negotiators before they even go into a negotiation. Also, we don't know whether the membership of the Commission will be different. We felt there were some really big gaps in terms of expertise on environment and on animal welfare, and there's no information to say that's going to change.
The Agriculture Bill now goes back to the House of Lords, but the discussions on trade don't stop. Speaking at an online Oxford Farming Conference event, the UK Trade Advisor and former Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott said that as long as food imports met British standards, then the UK had no right to tell countries how to meet those standards.
While it's right and proper for Britain to say that food sold in Britain has got to meet particular standards, I don't think it's up to Britain to tell other countries how they're going to meet those standards. I'm all in favour of global cooperation to boost standards, but I think if we try to solve every problem through trade deals, we'll end up not doing any trade deals. And that's why I think that sometimes these things can be a bit of a smokescreen.
At the same event, the National Farmers Union's president, Minette Batters, warned that putting free trade above all else is dangerous for farmers and the environment.
Are we going to sit back and just think, actually, this is just all about liberalisation and we'll just focus on trade? Or are we all going to say, actually, do you know what? This is the UK's opportunity to lead on the world stage. This is the opportunity to put farmers at the heart of delivering on climate change. It does matter. And we've got to aim high, and we've got to aim at the long-term prize of influencing the WTO and saying that food values matters.
Minette Batters, and we'll have more on trade over the next few weeks, I suspect. Now, when we talk about rural crime, you might imagine the odd bit of poaching. But from hare coursing to the theft of high-tech agricultural machinery, what we're actually talking about is an increasing problem, which costs around £59 million a year. That figure from the insurers NFU Mutual, who say rural crime has increased 9% from last year to this. Well, this morning we're going to highlight just a few of the major problems